dear students, how are you? I hope all are good. Welcome back to another class. Today, let me start English chapter number 50 as you like it. Do you ever hold a family reunion? If so, what happens there? Read the story. There was once some wicked duke named Frederick who took the dukedom that should have belonged to his brother. Sending him to exile, his brother went into the forest of Arden, where he lived the life of a bold forester as Robin Hood did in Sherwood Forest in Merry England. The banished duke's daughter Rosalind remained with Celia, Frederick's daughter, and the two loved each other more than most sisters. One day there was a wrestling match at court, and Rosalind and Celia went to see it. Charles, a celebrated wrestler, was there who had killed many men in contests of this kind. Orlando, the young man he was to wrestle with, was so slender and youthful that Rosalind and Celia thought he would surely be killed, as others had been, so they spoke to him and asked him not to attempt so dangerous an adventure. But the only effect of their words was to make him wish more to come of will in the encounter, so as to win praise from such sweet lyrics. Orlando, like Rosalind's father, was being kept out of his inheritance by his brother and was so sad at his brother's unkindness that until he saw Rosalind, he did not care much whether he lived or died. But now the sight of the fair Rosalind gave him strength and courage, so that he did marvelously and at last too charged to such a tune that the wrestler had to be carried off the ground. Duke Cedric was pleased with his courage and asked his name. My name is Orlando, and I am the youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys. Said the young man. Now Sir Roland de Boys, then he was alive, had been a good friend to the banished Duke. ये banished के बहुत अच्छे दोस्त थे. So that Frederick heard with regret whose son Orlando was and would not befriend him, but Rosalind was delighted to hear that this handsome young stranger was the son of her father's old friend. And as they were going away, she turned back more than once to say another kind word to the brave young man. Gentlemen, she said, giving him a chain from her neck, wear this for me. I could give more, but that my hand lacks means. Orlando was too spellbound to utter a single word. He was captivated by Rosalind's heavenly beauty. In this way, Rosalind and Orlando fell in love with each other at first sight. Orlando became so speechless that he could not even ask the two ladies about their identity. Rosalind and Celia, when they were alone, began to talk about the handsome wrestler, and Rosalind confessed that she loved him at first sight. Come, said Celia, wrestle with the affections. Oh, answered Rosalind, they take the part of a better wrestler than myself. Look, here comes the Duke with his eyes full of anger, said Celia. You must leave the court at once, he said to Rosalind. Why, she asked. Never mind why, answered the Duke. You are banished. If within 10 days you are found within 20 miles of my court, you die. Despite a strong protest from Celia, Duke Frederick refused to reverse his order. Celia was deeply attached to Rosalind right from the child. She could not bear the idea of being separated from Rosalind. Therefore, she suggested a plan to Rosalind. The plan says that both of them would slip out of the palace in disguise. It would decided that Rosalind would disguise herself as a male by the name of Ganymede, whereas Celia would smudge her face with amber and put on poor rough clothes. According to the plan, Celia assumed a new name, Alina. They now acted like a brother and sister. They took all their wealth and jewels with them. They also touched on the court jester with them and fled from the palace unnoticed. The forest of Arden was their destination. Rosalind, Celia, and Touchstone had already reached the forest of Arden. Although they had jewels and money with them, but they had no shelter. Moreover, they were extremely tired and hungry too. Incidentally, they met Coral, an old shepherd. Rosalind asked him if he could arrange for them some food and shelter in the forest. Horace said that he was only a servant and couldn't do anything for them, but his master was an owner of a sheepcote and had a large flock of sheep. He further told that his master wanted to sell his property, including his cottage and flock of sheep. Rosalind expressed her willingness to make a deal with Corin's master. The deal was finalized. Rosalind and Celia bought the cottage and the sheep from Corin's master. They also took services of Corin as they were totally unacquainted with the ways of forest life. In this way, Rosalind and Celia came to have an identity of being shepherds in the forest of Ardens. It was due to this newfound identity that they could maintain their anonymity in the forest of Arden. Neither Orlando nor Duke Sr. could look through the disguised Ganymede and Elena. In the meantime, Orlando fled to the forest of Arden, realizing the risk to his life from his eldest brother Oliver. The old loyal servant Adam was with him. Orlando and Adam had reached the outskirts of the forest of Arden. Both were exhausted and extremely hungry. Being young, Orlando could tolerate hunger and fatigue, but Adam was an old man of 88 and was almost dying of starvation. Orlando was deeply indebted to Adam for his loyalty and was committed to save his life at any cost. So he put Adam under a tree in a safe place and went in search of food. Duke Sr. with his comrades, which was sitting in front of his cave, they were about to start their meal. Orlando suddenly burst open them with his sword down. He warned them not to touch food until he had taken some share of food for the starving old man. Duke Sr. assured him that he was welcome to their camp and there was no need for him to behave in such a rude and uncultured manner. So the Duke asked Orlando to go and bring Adam there. The Duke also promised that nobody will touch anything till the old man was well fed. Orlando and Adam were welcomed by the group of Duke Celia. Orlando introduced himself as the youngest son of late Shri Roland Du Bois, who was a great friend of Duke C. Orlando thus got his shelter for himself in the forest of Arden. He was accepted as a member of the camp of Duke Sr. and his lords being kindly received, he stayed with them. Now Orlando could think of nothing but Rosalind and he went about the forest carving her name on trees and writing love sonnets and hanging them on the bushes. Luckily there Rosalind and Celia found them. One day Orlando met them, but he did not know Rosalind in her boy's clothes, though he liked the pretty shepherd youth because he fancied a likeness in him to her he loved. There is a foolish lover, said Rosalind, who haunts these woods and hangs sonnets on the streets. If I could find him, I would soon cure him of his folly. Orlando confessed that he was the foolish lover, and Rosalind said, if you will come and see me every day, I will pretend to be Rosalind and I will take her part, and he wayward and contrary as is the way of woman, till I make you ashamed of your folly in loving her. And so every day he went to her row house and took a pleasure in saying to her all the pretty things he would have said to Rosalind, and she had the fine and secret joy of knowing that all his words came to the right ears. Thus many days passed presently up. One morning, as Orlando was going to visit Ganymede, we saw a man asleep on the ground, and that there was a lioness crouching near, waiting for the man who was asleep to wake. For they say that lions will not prey on anything that is dead or asleep. Then Orlando looked at the man and saw that it was his weak brother Oliver who had tried to take his life. He fought with the lioness and killed her and saved his brother's life. While Orlando was fighting the lioness, Oliver woke to see his brother, whom he had treated too badly, saving him from a wild beast at the risk of his own life. This made him repent of his wickedness, and he begged Orlando's pardon, and from henceforth they were dear brothers. Lioness had wounded Orlando's arm so much that he could not go on to see the shepherd, so he sent his brother to ask Ganymede to come to him. Oliver went and told the whole story to Ganymede and Elena. And Elena was so charmed with his manly way of confessing his faults that she fell in love with him at once. But when Ganymede heard of the danger, Orlando had been fainted, and when she came to herself, said, "Truly enough, I should have been a woman by right." Oliver went back to his brother and told him all this, saying, "I love Elena so well that I will give my estates to you and marry her and live here as a shepherd. Let your wedding be tomorrow," said Orlando. "And I will ask the Duke and his friends." When Orlando told Ganymede how his brother was to be married on tomorrow, he added, "Oh, how better a thing it is to look into happiness through another man's eyes," then answered Rosalind, stealing Ganymede's dress and speaking with his voice. "If you do love Rosalind so near the heart, then when your own brother marries Elena, shall you marry her?" Now the next day, the Duke and his followers and Orlando and Oliver and Elena were all gathered together for the wedding. Then Ganymede came in and said to the Duke, "If I will bring in your daughter Rosalind, will you give her to Orlando?" "Here, that I would," said the Duke, "if I had all kingdoms to give with her." "And you say you will have her when I bring her?" she said to Orlando. "That would I," he answered, were I king of all kingdoms." Then Rosalind and Celia went out, and Rosalind put on her pretty woman's clothes again, and after a while came back. She turned to her father. "I give myself to you, for I am yours. If there be truth inside," he said, "you are my daughter." Then she said to Orlando, "I give myself to you, for I am yours. If there be truth inside," he said, "you are my Rosamond. I will have no father if you be not he." She said to the Duke and to Orlando, "I will have no husband if you be not he." So Orlando and Rosalind were married, and Oliver and Celia, and they live happy ever after, returning with the Duke to the kingdom. For Frederick had been shown by a holy hermit the wickedness of his ways, and so gave back the dukedom of his brother, and himself went into a monastery to pray for forgiveness. The wedding was a merry one in the mossy glades of the forest. A shepherd and shepherdess who had been friends with Rosalind when she was herself disguised as a shepherd were married on the same day, and all with such pretty feasting and merry makings as could be nowhere within 4 walls, but only in the beautiful green wood. So everyone, the chapter is in here. I hope you all are very well understand full chapter. We will meet you the next class. Thank you everyone.